All right, welcome back to the channel. So today I have the Vortex Solo RT 8x36 monocular. So this monocular I had talked about previously and shown just a little bit, and here's an update. I'm still using it. I still like it quite a bit. This clip right here has remained strong. I tightened it up a little tiny bit, but I use this very, very often, and it stays in places where it gets hot and then it gets cold and hot and cold. And if you know anything about that on hardware, that tends to back things out a little bit. Plus just flexing it all the time and stuffing it in pockets, it has loosened up just a tiny, tiny bit. But I still like it. I think it's a fantastic idea. The clip itself is strong enough. I still wish it had a reverse kind of J on it so it stayed on your belt a little more securely. But that being said, I mean, it's still here. I haven't lost it. I still don't really use the pouch for it very often. I think the pouch it came with is pretty lame, but I really like it. It's got a really good range for the things that I'm doing with it. And the things that I've been doing with it is not really spotting beyond a few hundred yards. Now, occasionally I do, like if I've already put my rifles away and my friend is still trying to hit steel, I'll grab this and go out there and, you know, if I can see a dust cloud or see the target move, and it does have that reticle, and of course that's super useful because most of my friends shoot in mills. So I do use it occasionally in that way out there a little further, but most of the time, let's say 500 yards and in, that's where I'm using it, especially at NRL 22, which is like, you know, maybe a couple hundred yards and in. So with NRL 22, this is really convenient for me. I don't feel like hauling around an entire, you know, like baby carrier like some guys do with all their gear. I kind of limit it to this Apparition, you know, folding rifle backpack. And that's where I've been putting my NRL 22 rifle and my other gear. And I like throwing this in there, and it's a small package. It's easy to just throw on my back and carry to the next destination because we do have to walk a little distance between stages at times. And so I like having something small. I don't want to carry the tripod. I don't really have a big use for it because honestly, especially if it's out to just 100 yards, the 8X has been plenty for me to spot people's impacts high, low, left or right, and give feedback to my friends that I'm shooting with, especially if they're running my rifle. I just know it pretty well, and so I can get right behind them and I can spot with this. And sure, it's not as steady as shooting off or bouncing off a tripod, you know, it's not stationary, it's gonna be as steady as you are, but usually I just get down and kind of put my elbows on my knees and then spot for my friends, and it does a pretty good job. I like it. A couple things I still really wish that it had a feature on here so that I could put it on tripod from time to time. I think it would be really cool. Occasionally there's an open tripod somewhere and I could just mount it up really quickly. I wish it had that feature, or just like an Arca plate on the bottom. That would be cool. I know that's asking a lot and very few people seem to use these in that way. It's just a personal preference, and I've thought about ways that I could modify this to put an Arca plate on there so I could just, you know, put it right into a tripod from time to time, because of course that would make it more balanced, and occasionally I do think that would be nice to have. I like the eyepiece and this sunshade that it has there, so you can get it right up to your eye and kind of block out the light around your eye. One thing I noticed is this piece has loosened up. So this is just the cover, it is not the actual glass, but the cover itself has loosened up, and that doesn't really bother me per se. It doesn't do anything, it's just not tight anymore, and so a little rattly, and hopefully that doesn't, you know, actually affect any lens inside eventually loosening up. I'm not sure what tolerances got loose on me here, but again, I've been using it kind of harsh, to be honest with you. I haven't had it covered very well. I've had it dropped several times. I handed somebody once and they dropped it, and it's not broken. Seems pretty good to me. Again, it's a fixed power 8X, so there's not a lot to go wrong, and it's probably glued pretty well with those lenses. I wish that the focus adjust and the the reticle adjustment and the parallax, I wish they were equally smooth. This one is pretty smooth. This one is a little tough to get at just because of that clip too. So if I'm actually spotting, when it gets cold out especially, that's one thing I noticed is when it's like 20 below or colder, I can feel it gumming up on me a little bit. It's not quite as smooth. Right now it's actually relatively warm. It's almost 40 degrees out and it's nice and smooth. Not too bad. It's just a little tighter on the parallax. I like the way that it's built with this little hump right here. It gives you some extra texture and grip, and that's nice. So I can grab it and have a consistent spot to bring it up to my eye. In fact, I'm gonna fix that reticle real quick. That's nice having a quick reticle adjustment, you know, if this was just a fixed reticle with no adjustment, I wouldn't really like it that much because my eyes don't work that well, especially my right eye. I always tend to run reticle adjustments all the way to the right, you know, whatever that means. I'm moving right to the right, and then it clears up for me. So I'm very glad to have that. I just thought I'd throw it out there for you guys. One thing I may change in the future, I think I'll throw a lanyard back through here, just a small piece of paracord probably, so I can put a clip on there, and I would feel much more secure having this clipped onto my belt than running this clip at times, especially if I'm hauling a backpack, a gun, a knife on my side. Sometimes I don't notice if something else was to slip off, and sometimes when you're rock climbing or whatever, you're getting over a boulder, something like this could get pushed up by your leg and right off your belt, and I don't want to lose it. I really like it. I'm seeing these come down a little bit in price, so you could get them right around 120 bucks, 130 bucks, and it's still a really great value. I like it enough that I'm seriously considering the 15X. It's really spendy. Those are MSRPing something like $600 right now, which is ridiculous. It's not worth $600, but if I can ever find one for half price or used, I think I'm going to buy the 15X because that does have like a quarter-inch a quarter-inch adapter on there, so I could throw it on a tripod from time to time. And of course, 15X, I can do a lot more with that than 8X, but very versatile. I like it. It's held up, and you guys asked about it, so I'm telling you. Thanks, guys, and go ahead and check out one of these videos. All right, see you in the next video.